Hello from Bournemouth. Good afternoon. Wonderful to see all colleagues, and I've been watching this marathon of presentations from very early in the morning, and I think this is probably some of the most serious panels we've heard from the last few months, and the optimism that's coming out. And now we're kind of realizing that COVID is here to stay, and somehow we need to kind of deal with that, especially before we get the vaccine and to get the escape card. This is the panel that we are talking about digital tools and how digital and technology are going to help us get out of there. My good friend Ismail has left me right at the end, so it's kind of a few people are watching us, but we've got an extremely well-informed panel that we're going to have a nice conversation. Let me introduce colleagues. Jayanth Kolla, from founder and a partner of Convergence Catalyst and Sensate Technologies in India. Fuentes Díaz, chairman and founder, Tourism Optimizer Transform. I guess, Diego, you are in Spain?
Yes, we are in Spain.
Fantastic. Cuthbert Ncube, who is the chairman of the African Tourist Board and the chief executive officer of Kwela Group. And my good friend and collaborator, and I miss her dearly, Daniela Wagner, who is the director of the International Partnership for Jacob Media Group. And also I've got to mention your PATA role as well. So wonderful panel. Thank you very much for joining us. We are running a little bit out of time, so I've asked you to be sharp and to the point with all the answers. I think a lot of people have been looking into technology during this period to help us restart the tourism industry. And if I can have your initial statement on which tools have you seen operating, or which tools have you brought to the marketplace to support the restart of tourism. Jayanth, can we start with you?
Yes, one of the most important digital tools that we have seen are the contact tracing apps, right, which use mobile and GPS and advanced data analytics for heat maps. I mean, these apps have helped in containing the spread of the disease. And one other advanced technology tool that we have seen is computer vision, artificial intelligence algorithms, where the CCTV cameras in the resorts and hotels, running computer vision AI algorithms were used for, identifying if people were wearing masks, and also including, automating social distancing, right? People being 6 feet apart. So these are some of the tools that we've seen. We've seen ultraviolet disinfectant lights working with sensors, being used in hospitals and various manufacturing facilities and hotels. So these are some of the digital tools that we've seen that were used in the last few months.
Thank you. Diego, I hear that you brought some very interesting technologies to the market. Would you like to explain to us?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. First of all, I want to thank the organization for giving us the opportunity to be here today, and especially in these difficult times for everyone and for tourism. Probably travel and tourism never faced a challenge like this before. So let me highlight something. As you may know, for the last 5 years, we have been studying and creating tools for government and suppliers, for all the stakeholders of our sector, which facilitate the organization of these complex trips, so different from the rest of the travel and the rest of the clients. I'm talking about, as you know, about the governmental and institutional travels. I'm going to give you the perspective of the specific tools that in our case we have developed for the ITIC sector, and that can perfectly be used in these complicated moments. And for our end, we have created a complete ecosystem of solutions, such as software monitors in these trips in real time. We had to create from the start a broad training and certification program with technological support that today can be accessed online. But what I mean is that in our case, we have always, from the beginning, bet on technology, on creating digital solution, and therefore we have a long way advanced already. In general, during the last few months, technology has been present, especially by video conferences, to which somehow we all had to get used to becoming a key part of our daily lives. In any case, in these complicated moments, what is really important is that the people must be aware of the fact that technology and remote solution had come to stay, and they must coexist in every job, in every sector, whatever it is. So where we must work on creating sustainable and much more digital model, and I'm sure that we will make it. But especially tourism cannot be waiting for a miracle vaccine, because we are not sure if it will finally arrive, and overall, because when it does, it may no longer a sector to save. So we must work now and seek for solution for the present and work for the future, more sustainable and resilient.
Okay, let's keep that on the technology, Diego, let's speak to Cuthbert to see what's happening in Africa, and
Okay.
we'll come back and have some more discussion on. And I'd like you to be specific on what kind of technology, because a lot of people are asking us, what do we really want? How can we really support them? Cuthbert? I think we cannot hear you.
He's on mute.
All right. Okay. Sorry. That's technology, Prof.
Exactly. That's the first test, right? There's always an exam with the professor. What do you expect?
But thank you so much. We really appreciate, and it's an honor once again to have me on this session, and also conveying my gratitude to my panelists. Look, we're looking at digitization in its holistic appreciation. We need a total digital transformation, the total mainstreaming of ICT in all social economic development sectors. We need to apply technology to radically change the process of doing business as we restart the sector with a driving force for innovative inclusion and system growth across the value chain. May I hasten to decry that if there was a time we need to synchronize our approach in enabling conducive environment and workable policy regulations, it is right now. Our governments should take full responsibility to create an enabling environment that will actually assist us, environment that is friendly, policy regulations that promote digital transformation. We now totally dependent on Internet of Things. As we start or activate the sector, our machine-to-machine ends, the 5G, which actually will assist in driving the digital transformation and easy accessibility and seamless approach in conducting one's business. I believe, therefore, that on the broad priority as a must in what we are doing business in terms of managing technology and responding to its digitalization. So the priority, Prof, and the must is to make sure that the internet continues to function in its absolute, increasing the bandwidth that is available as to avoid and reduce the levels of congestion that we experience in networks, especially during this COVID-19. We have seen global increase in internet traffic of more than 28% just beginning of this year. And some other countries, the rise has been as high as 50%. So therefore, surely technology is playing a pivotal role in our activation of our travel and tourism sector.
Thank you so much. Daniela, I know that you have been traveling during this period, and I'm a little bit envied because I really want to travel with you. What kind of technologies have you used, and how can you see technology helping us restart tourism?
Thank you, Dimitrios. I miss you too, by the way, and greetings to all of you on the panel. So yes, I think for me, there's like three layers to this. I think there's the things that have been developed as a result of COVID. So the track and trace apps that Jayanth is talking about, and all the kind of quick fixes that we've got. Then I think there's a kind of business as usual layer, which is that actually lots of companies, I think this hasn't been spoken about very much, but lots of companies have actually used this situation, however bad and dramatic it is, to actually review their own systems and look at how they can fast track their development. And we've seen that a lot during the Travolution Summit, where we were talking to OTAs and online operators who actually used this period to kind of implement the changes that they were thinking about doing in the next 3 to 5 years, and have actually implemented them now, because this is quite a good time to do it. If you've got no clients, there's far more risk to look at your front end, to look at your back end. So I think there's a kind of business as usual transformation. And then I think there's a sort of future looking transformation about what's going to happen when we come out of this. The world was already moving into a world of smart travel, contactless travel, smart destinations, implementing strategies, and actually technology hopefully will not only be the tool to get us all to where we want to be, which is to relaunch a tourism which is much more sustainable, much more green, much more, future looking, if you like, but also to deal with the short-term problems. So I think it's these three layers that we're working on, and they're all working at the same time, and they're all basically quite disruptive.
I really like your structure, because it kind of engages in the short term and the longer term, and I think you're absolutely right. I think we shouldn't be complacent. We have been working in tourism and technology for many years, but I think especially this year the situation was quite dramatic, because people were constantly looking for information. And I think we failed to provide the right information. Let's be honest with ourselves. We didn't provide the right information at the right time, and the information was changing all the time. So context-based information and real time was absolutely critical. And I think a lot of people were taken by surprise. I think they went into the business as usual, and instead of actually understanding the anxiety of the consumers, they were not in a position to progress some of those things at the speed that was required. And I think one of the most critical elements, especially when we start looking to bubbles and corridors, and we were looking to all this kind of techniques that people were looking, they were looking for specific information. And when I'm talking to both industry and colleagues, we find that they need more accurate information, more up-to-date information, and they need exactly to have the right information, the right response. How can you see the industry responding to these things and bring them forward in a way that we can support travelers, and also we can support the industry?
Sorry, go ahead. No, please.
Would you like to
start with Diego, and then we're going to go to mix up a little bit.
Come on, Daniela.
Okay, no, I was just going to say that I somewhat agree with you, but I think that actually lots of companies did do the best that they possibly could to communicate under the circumstances. So, for example, with one of my hats on Travel Weekly Group, we launched a restart and recovery hub early on for destinations, because one of the things that we saw was that destinations had all these changing rules and regulations. Nobody really knew what would happen. How were you allowed to visit a country? Were you allowed to visit it? What would happen when you arrived? How was the immigration process? What were the social distancing norms, and so on? So we actually launched specifically for destinations back on the beginning of June, a restart and recovery hub where they could explain to travel agents, who at that time were the only people that consumers actually trusted, what the situation was in that country. And we've allowed those destinations to continually update their information, which sometimes changes on a weekly basis, as we can see from the news.
Or the daily,
and
exactly.
so, or on a daily basis, and that, I think that's been very helpful. And we've had huge online demand for news and information throughout the group. So I think you're right, and everyone could have done a better job, but a lot of people were taken by surprise. And look at the way that operators were able to deal with things. There was so much pressure on companies who were having to deal through call centers, which had 120 times the volumes that they had before. People were dealing with a very difficult situation. And
Absolutely, and nobody
come out.
That. But I think those people who were prepared to understand the real time and the need to actually respond in real time and have an agile and smart system which was using all kinds of artificial intelligence, whatever else, to collect information and relay information, those people did much better than others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I agree with you, with Daniela. So I think that we must work hard to implement technological tools that apply and solve the needs and each sector, and as you say, to find real-time solution. I really don't think that we can generalize and the use of just one key tool to help us to move forward. Obviously, the video conferences and as we have mentioned before, will be part of our lives, but we must keep in working to find which tools are the most suitable to our needs, to the needs of each sector. For me, it's time to change. Training and technology will become the perfect vehicles to get adapted to the new reality. But it's time, this is my opinion, to reinvent ourselves. For example, in our case, we have already done it, adapting our products and our business model to a new reality. We are not talking about theory, we are talking about reality. So without living, and we have created product that helps countries directly. For example, this is my sector, a program to help governments on the COVID situation, tools to help governments in real time. We must get adapted to the situation.
Okay.
And need to reinvent ourselves.
Let me ask Jayanth to contribute to this discussion.
Bye.
When you talk about the tools that are required for context-based information, right? The tools, already exist. I mean, a combination of mobile, GPS technologies and data analytics. Okay, if they work in sync, they can actually provide real-time context-based information at every individual traveler level. But having said that, there also exist challenges, and the challenges are at the enterprise software levels, right? I mean, each of these industry players in the value chain themselves, okay, work on, they have their own individual software platforms, okay?
Yeah. Maybe, Prof, if I could...
Jayanth, we lost you for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Cuthbert?
Yes, Prof. If I could just come in, look, we have seen a disintegrated approach, especially within the service providers. We have realized that the tendency of operating and working, they are working in silos, whereby they view digital knowledge as a competitive advantage rather than a public advantage and an opportunity to transform the whole tourism value chain. So we have seen the enhancement of cross-border trade through the value of economic transformation enhanced by the digitalization, new opportunities for digital as new growth sector, that COVID-19 is opening up as one of the traditional leading sectors. So therefore, there are more opportunities to apply digital technologies to supply chain management within the economic tourism space. So we need a well-coordinated approach within the service providers.
Thank you. Cuthbert, I think you almost summarized it for me, and I got the note that I need to wrap it up because we're running out of time. But I think what is really critical is to realize that this is actually not a technological problem; it's a leadership problem, and I think you absolutely emphasize that it's a matter of how can we get together and understand what technology can do for us, but actually drive from the front. And I think it's leadership from governments and leadership from the tourism sector to understand how we can engage with all the tools that we've got available and develop resilience and develop the ability to actually deal in real time with all of those things that they're doing. Alicia, who's on the background, actually is doing her PhD with me in Bournemouth University on real-time resilience. And this is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking to how different actors can come together and enable us to work together and using technology to address all these challenges. I wish we had another 3 days talking about these things. I think we'll have another opportunity. I promise you we'll organize something else that will be specifically on technology at some stage, and you'll all be invited to contribute to that. Thank you very much. We need to leave it here. Stay safe, do good, and take good care. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitrios. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.